Hi, my name is Jay Wing, and I will be your guide through this first module in a series on how to build, update, and maintain a web page using Weebly.com. Weebly.com is a tool to develop simple and very elaborate web pages. There are very powerful features, such as creating an online portfolio for art and design students with the ability to add audio tracks and import video and blogging features that make this an ideal way to produce robust web pages. The modular nature of Weebly allows site producers to add content easily and modify or update pages as needed. Just as an example, this past week I had a job interview at King Chavez High School. So prior to going into the job interview, part of which was doing a lesson plan for their students in front of the panel of administrators, I developed this web page and added it to my site, both to use as an outline and also the lesson itself. The lesson included thumbnail sketches, how to save, how to add information, where to upload, and most importantly, this bit of information here, which was, you will be graded for this assignment. And the way I graded the assignment was to listen, following directions, turning in the assignment correctly, how the file is named, and how the information was added to the file before it was uploaded to the FTP site. Another example of a web page that I had developed, or a tab I should say, was for this Lincoln High School engineering department where I substituted for 2 weeks. They didn't have a teacher for the 2 weeks prior, so I taught the students how to develop a web page, and that's where this module came from. So all of the information that they needed was on this file here, which is a PDF that I uploaded to one of my FTP sites that looks like this. And it has all of the tabs that they need for their web page, all the information that goes on it, and then directions on how to name their file, how to name their web page, specifically how not to name their web page, and how to turn it into me. So the first thing you do is you go to Weebly.com, type in your name, your email address, and a password. Or you can also sign up with Facebook. I'm going to use the second one of the two for this demonstration. First thing you do is choose a theme. Since this is a template-driven software package that's online, you just choose a theme and basically fill in the blanks. And I do have a favorite that I'm looking for here. This is the sample site that I used for the class, so I'm going to use that one again for this demonstration. I let the students know that all of the photos, images, and text are going to be added or altered, because as you can see, this isn't something that I necessarily want on a high school web page. This is a very important feature right here. Always use the subdomain of Weebly unless you want to pay money for a domain. If you click this button here and add your domain here, they will ask you for $25 to register the domain, and domains only cost about $15, so I would recommend not going through Weebly to get your domain. For this particular demonstration, I'm going to call this CK Art. Nope, that's not going to work. That one's already taken. KC Digital Art.weebly.com. As you notice, if you keep trying a couple of different ones, a lot of people have built pages, so you have to wait until this one says available. And then click the continue button just below the screen. You can walk through the demo, but we're not going to do that because I've already done this a dozen times or so. but there are online tutorial helps with Weebly. Very nicely done. The very first thing we're going to do is add pages to our site. So you click on Pages here. Notice that the headers have different page layouts for various types of layouts. The very first one has a really large headline on it, which takes up a lot of space. So I don't generally use that one. So I use the second one here. I currently only have a home page tab, so I'm just going to add a page. And I'm going to go back to my cheat sheet here. The pages I'm going to add are About Me, Resume, Portfolio, Blog, and Contact. So I'm going to click Add a Page. Notice that there are different types of pages on here. For most of them, I'm going to use the standard page. So the very first one is About Me. Then I'm going to add another page. Standard page. And this one is Resume. Oh, I can't do it on that. Sorry about that. I was trying to use Macintosh keyboard commands and I'm on a PC. Add another standard page. This one's going to be called Portfolio. Next page is Blog. Now this time when I add a page, I'm going to actually go to the blog page instead of the standard page. And that's actually going to already add blog to it. The last page is a contact page. So I'm going to add a standard page, call this one Contact. Now since I wasn't paying attention, I need to go back and check to make sure that all of my pages are on this second short header page. So I very easily can check on all of these. And then say Save and Edit. And all of the pages were added. These are all the various pages. Since it's the easiest one to do, I'm going to scroll down a little bit and show you how to add the contact page information. On the left-hand side of your screen, there are all these buttons that you can drag and drop in here for text, etc. I'm just going to drag the one that says Contact Form into the page. And then edit the text by clicking here. And save. Since it says My Site here, and I don't necessarily want that up there, I'm going to go into my settings. I can either change this to whatever I want the site to be, or I can click this button and not have that text on the top of the page. Even though there's not a lot of content on here except for the contact page, I'm going to go ahead and publish the site. Click Continue. And then it's going to ask me for categorization. This is an education site. The category is a class project. Then you have to go through this little deal 545. After you add the numbers, click OK to publish my site. Now this is the part you have to be really careful about. If you click continue here, or any of these other buttons, it'll go to a screen and ask you for a credit card so that you can purchase this domain name. So you always have to make sure to click this button here so that it doesn't do that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to these three lines over here, which are my options, and go down to see where my sites are listed. And it shows the listing of the sites. If I click here, it'll show me what my website currently looks like. And again, there's no content on any of these pages yet. That's for the next lesson. Except for the contact page. It does have information on it. The nice thing about this is the email address that you used when you signed up for Weebly.com is where this form information goes, in addition to a place on Weebly where you can check the listing of all of the contacts that you've had. So that's about all we have time for today. Tomorrow we'll start adding content to your Weebly site.